Hello everyone, this is Micah from This Divided World. This is I believe the fourth installment of the face-to-face video series. I think I've done a few of them, but this is actually gonna be a two-part series. It's titled, Who Would Jesus Vote For? And I'll just stop right here, and if you really think I'm gonna tell you who to vote for, that's not what this is about. It's kind of just the title is just supposed to catch people's eyes, so sorry if it's misleading or you really are expecting for me to tell you somebody to vote for, but I don't think that's really my place. I don't think that's really anybody's place, I guess. Well, everybody that's making TV commercials seems to think it's their place. But anyways, what I'd rather more do is just like have kind of a little bit of a discussion and give you some ideas. Like if you're 18 or older and you're planning on voting, or even if you're not, and just like it's getting to be, about election time and people are kind of like dividing into their camps, and I just kind of want to have an honest discussion. And I'm not really going to state my personal beliefs because I don't think that's I don't think that's important on here. But what I'd rather do is like make it a discussion and whatever. So anyways, I'll just kind of go into, I just had some different ideas and some different things because I think the idea of who would Jesus vote for probably is a little bit silly in itself, but the thoughts behind it, and I think some of the principles are like important. Like for example, there's really like basically two choices, Republican and Democrat, and like yeah, you can write in and stuff like that, and sometimes an independent will run and just different stuff like that. But like basically you have two choices, like whatever. Or I guess that not voting is also a choice, or if you wanted to write in if that was like really what you wanted to do. But anyways, I think it's a common belief that Republican equals Christian, and I don't think that's necessarily like I don't think that's a solid belief in a lot of ways. I think because people see like abortion as something that is liberal or democratic or whatever, that it's perceived as like, well, I could never vote. My dog Opie, he's just getting readjusted. But I think because like people feel like that's like an ultimate crime, and I'm not minimizing what that is. I think it's dark and it's evil and all that kind of stuff. But I think because people associate a lot of that with the Democratic Party, that they think that they could never vote for that. But I also think one thing that maybe the Democratic Party is really good at, which something to me, Jesus' time here on earth, one thing that I think he was really concerned with was like with the poor. And there's always a lot of programs and like things in the generally speaking, in the Democratic agenda, Democratic Party's agenda, that are like really focused on the lower class, the poor, like in the needy and stuff like that. And so I think that's one big plus for voting Democrat, is that like Jesus' time, he was always talking about the poor and like focused on that. But then on the other side of that, you could say for maybe like moral issues, like supposedly or whatever, that Republican is more aligned, generally speaking, is more aligned with what people like keeping God in the Constitution, or keeping God in like the pledge, and like just like within government and stuff like that. So I think Jesus, generally speaking, like in all the New Testament writings, and even including a lot of Old Testament stuff, I think Jesus believed in like authority. And actually, Mark and I were talking about this last night. I was recording this actually last night, and then Mark's Skyped me, so I canceled it, so I'm re-recording this. But anyways, God gave man like the Ten Commandments, so God obviously believes in law. And if you look at the world, there's obviously natural order, and so God believes in law and order. But in the Old Testament, basically when the Israelites were like a free people, they like basically asked for a king to lead them or whatever. So I think government on earth is I don't think it was God's intention, but I think it's here now. And so I think it was honestly a request of man to God to give us that kind of strange thing, and maybe Mark's going to touch on it more in his thing. But anyways, I was actually at a radio interview with ExtremeChristianRadio.com, and the guy was kind of asking me, you know, he feels like this next election is going to be a spiritual election or whatever. Not exactly sure what he was getting at, but he said, like, how do you think people should vote or whatever like that? And I said to him, well, let me put it to you this way. If your house was on fire and there were two firemen, okay, and one was a Christian and one was a non-Christian, and let's say that the non-Christian person that has different beliefs from you, or whatever, just make it more general, somebody that sees things differently than you do, they could put out the fire. And then you got somebody that has the same beliefs as you, is the same kind of person, or however you want to say that, and they couldn't put out the fire. Which person would you rather have put out the fire? And he said, well, yeah, the person that could put it out. And so that's kind of my thought on politics. I don't believe that you have to have the same convictions or beliefs as anyone else. I'd rather vote for a president that I feel like could do the job. Now, do I honestly feel like either of these two candidates are honest, or that they're going to do what they say they're going to do, or that I can really trust in them? No, not at all. I think the bigger thing that I want to get at from this entire thing is to say that I think both options are viable. I don't think if you vote one way, I don't think that's bad. If you vote the other way, I don't think that's bad either. I think if you believe in your own mind that you should vote for one person or the other, then do it. Or that you should not vote. Like, if you're convicted not to vote, then I think you should do that. But I think the bigger thing is to take a step back and look at that all of this, like, this craziness and politics and government and all this stuff, this is all, like, man's attempt to bring order to the chaos that man brought to a perfect order. So, like, if you step back and if you read in, like, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Jesus is always talking about the kingdom of heaven. And I think the kingdom of heaven is perfect, and there's no, like, election. You know, there's no election in the kingdom of heaven. It's either you accept that Jesus is king and you're a servant under his perfect leadership or whatever, or you're not in the kingdom at all, you know? And so it's very different. So I'm not sure I can give really great advice, but I think it's stupid when, like, people that are normally, when we agree on so much, and then election year time comes around, and then everyone splits off, and, well, you believe this is different than I do. And I think that's, like, I think it's good, like, if you have beliefs and there's a reason that you believe what you believe, but if we agree on the big things, then who cares if we don't agree on the little things? So, anyways, Mark should be putting up a part 2 to this, his perception, stuff like that. So go out and vote, go out and don't vote, whatever you want to do. But I honestly don't know who Jesus would vote for. I think if Jesus was here right now, he'd be having church in the park. So, but anyways, alright, thank you guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully Mark will put up his part 2 pretty soon here. But have a good day, guys. Bye.